The Rebbe says that there were four kitas, four groups formed amongst the Eden at the time of the confrontation. The Mitzrayim were chasing them when they were in front of the Yam Suf. There were four different kitas urging four different solutions to the situation. One group said, let us fight the Egyptians. One group said, let's go back to Egypt. One group said, let us give up, go and jump into the sea. One group said, let us stand up and pray. So while some of these groups were just despondent, giving up, but others seem to be saying something in line. Let's pray. What's wrong with praying? Let's fight them. It's also a normal, stand-up-ish human response. And yet, Hashem told Moshe, in response to all these four groups, that they're all missing the point. All of them. And instead, what you should tell them is, if you sow, they should journey on. They should just journey on. Now, one can ask, how is this different than those who said, let us jump into the sea? Because journey on means going to the sea. There's no other direction to go. So we will discuss it a little bit. And the point the Rebbe discusses, in a sense, a long sicha. The principle is that there is a clear demarcation line, clear difference between, in general, what the solutions that Eden came up with, and the Meibershin's directive. And the difference is not so much in what they're supposed to do specifically, but rather where that idea is coming from. What is the basis? On what basis are they going to do this or that? In principle, the Rebbe explains that all the solutions that Eden came up with, some more in line, some off, some better, but there's one commonality between all of them, is that they're all basing their solution on human thought, on logic. What's called on sicha. In principle, we always talk about sicha. Sicha is a wonderful thing, right? Nothing wrong with sicha. Why over here we say that this is sicha and therefore this is wrong? On the other hand, what is inherent in what the Rebbe said? Tell Eden they should journey on. What is unique in that? What is the message? They should journey on. There must be some kind of an insight on the basis, on some kind of a deeper basis. They say they should journey on. It's not a solution to anything. They should journey on. As I said, they'll end up in the sea anyway. What is the principle behind the saying they should journey on? So the principle is as follows. Again, this is something which we speak quite often about. And every time we speak, it becomes a little bit more palatable, a little bit more clearer. We always mention the principle that the Rambam presents. And this principle the Rambam presents as a prerequisite for Chokhmah. You know the quote I'm saying. Yesoid ha-Yesoid Amud ha-Chokhmah. It's the first sentence in the Rambam's Sefer. Yesoid ha-Yesoid Amud ha-Chokhmah. The foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom is later to know that that there is a first being, Mamtsikol Nimtza, bringing everything forth. Now, there are enormous depth and breadth in this statement. At first glance, this is a very simple statement that the first principle is to believe in God. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. This is the first principle of Yiddishkeit. However, I'm not going to go read explain all the words how they point to this, but the real message over the months we have explained certain parts of it. The real message of it there is not that there is one God and everything comes from Him. The real message of it there is that the first being, and is Mamtsikol Nimtza, he brings everything forth. What is the nuance behind these words? It brings everything forth. The Torah starts with the words Reishis Bora Elokim Hashemayim V'Haaretz. At the beginning, God created the Shemayim V'Haaretz. Which means which is telling us the following. I'm calling your attention to something subtle. The principle in these words is not that you're seeing Shemayim, you're seeing the earth and the Shemayim, you're seeing the whole world. You should know that this world that you're seeing was created by Hashem. With that approach, the Bereshis, the first orientation, the first realization is that there is a world. But then you say that this world that you see is a godly creation. This gives a totally different message, a totally different basis for all activities than saying that what is the real beginning is not the Shemayim V'Haaretz. The real beginning is that God created Shemayim V'Haaretz. Which means that before I'm aware of Shemayim V'Haaretz, I'm aware of God. And then God comes and tells me, you should know I created Shemayim V'Haaretz. And here's what I want you to do with it. Which means that by the Torah directive, the Torah enrichment of us, human thought, is that we don't know about the presence of Shemayim V'Oretz, except for the fact that God tells us about it. And He tells us, this is what I created for you. It sounds a little bit difficult to orient oneself, because after all, yeah, I do see the Shemayim V'Oretz. So it's a little lengthy to discuss the entire perception of this, but the real truth is, I hope you can follow it, I'll do very brief. The real truth is, we see Shemayim V'Oretz, we see heaven and the earth, and it is extremely real, extremely convincing, beyond convincing. Of course it's there, of course that's the reality. That convincing element, and that reality element, that assurance and surety that you have in seeing Shemayim V'Oretz, is not due to the Shemayim V'Oretz themselves. It is due to the fact that the Shemayim V'Oretz is being shown to us and presented to us by Hashem. This is true, not just from the perspective of emunah, of faith and belief. This is really true from the perspective of the human orientation, of simple human orientation. And I'll try to introduce you to this concept a little bit. It's a little deep, and perhaps I don't know how ready we are for it, but I'd like you to know, to hear it. Let's look at this cup. We're all very sure that the cup is there. Now, if the presence of the cup would leave a question, how did it get here? What's this cup about? Would you be sure that it's there with the same surety that you are now? You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If it didn't make sense to you that the cup is here, even though you see it with your flesh eyes, seeing with your flesh eyes is the same as we say all the time. I'm walking and I'm hitting something. Oh, something is here. But that's a secondary knowledge. That's a reaction to a situation. Surety means I know it as primary knowledge. So far, do I have with me? All of you. So, this is just a very simple revelation that the fact that the world seems so real is not because we encounter it. Because it doesn't really make sense. Where is it coming from? The reason that the world is so real is because we sense that it's being shown to us. That there is a first being that shows it to us. And this is why it's so real. In other words, in the very structure, in the Rambam, the very structure of human thought. It takes time to break away from the common, what do I say? It's almost a pitfall. In other words, if one would walk around and say, God is showing this to you. I don't see God. It comes, where are you coming from? Right? You're coming from Mars? This is here. But really, deep down, if we would really understand the process of seeing and being so should, we would understand that this is not how it happens. You don't see with your eyes. That sounds ridiculous, right? I sound ridiculous. You don't see with your eyes.
No.
You don't see with your eyes, you see with your sicha. Your eyes don't give you any more surety than touch. Still at a distance. What makes it so real is because the eyes communicate this to the seichel, and seichel sees, understands what it is that you see. The question that I asked you many times before: do you think that an animal sees the same world as a human being sees? With the same reality? Absolutely not. To the animal, there is nothing real except about the world, except anything, except for the fact that if it is a stick, I'm going to get hurt. If it's a wall, I can go through it. If it's food, I can eat it. It knows everything by its own experience, how it reflecting on him. It knows nothing from an objective, a truth perspective. And a human being is capable and is given that enormous gift of knowing things from their own truth, not from his experience. Yeah.
You repeat that line one more time.
Huh?
You just repeat that line one more time.
The human being or the animal?
Human.
The human being is given a super status in the world. That to him the world is a reality on its own, not because of the way that it affects him.
Mm-hmm.
And that is due to his seichel. And this is what I said, that yes, the world is extremely real to us. But the real reason why it's so real is not because of tangibility, not because I see it with my eyes, but because I see it with my intellect, with my seichel. Anything I see with my seichel means that I see it because it's true, not because I'm affected by it. Does that follow? Do you follow this? That means that it's a reality. This is how a human being orients himself in the world. Having said that, this is enough food for thought. I'm just, this is not, of course, the focus of what I want to say. Just to explain what the principle of reality to us is. And that this is the deeper and the clearer and the truer, the true meaning in the Rambam's introduction. The first principle towards wisdom is to know that there is a first being that brings everything forth. brings everything forth is not just to say, okay, there's a creator to everything. Brings everything, that makes everything real. So that when you look at things, you don't see the thing, you see what is the Rebbe doing. This is the truer Chochmah way of looking at the world. Very few of us are on that madrege, but that is the truth. And this was the difference. Yidden are facing the Yam Suf on the one hand, and they were facing Mitzrayim on the other hand, and they were completely disoriented. And then, the expression is between a rock and a hard place. Where are you going to go? And they started concocting all kinds of solutions. On what basis are they concocting solutions? On the basis of the Egyptians, the basis of the Yam. But there is no Egyptians and there is no Yam. There is only what the Rebbe makes. That's the reality. From that perspective, it's a completely different view. You follow what I'm saying? It's a completely different, you look for solutions in a totally different way. You think the Yam is studying anywhere? All of these things are there. Not only they're there, the truth that you're observing is the Rebbe's doing. The Rebbe makes you observe it. Not the Rebbe creates the Yam and you see it. No, the Rebbe creates this thing and that you can see it. He makes you see it. Mamtzi kol nimtza. Therefore, it's a completely different situation. If the Rebbe is making you see it, and you see the Egyptians, and you see the Yam, what is the answer to that? Is the answer to that dilemma within the natural world? How do I handle the Yam? How do I handle the sea, the Egyptians? All the parameters of the situation are the godly parameters. So therefore, the solution is the godly solution. What does the Rebbe want me to do? Not what is the way out of this dilemma. You get the point? Because the whole dilemma doesn't exist in its own. Why did the Rebbe show me this? Why did the Rebbe show me this? In other words, what is the Rebbe's direction here in this? In this, not how do I get out of this. And this is what the Rebbe said to you, to Moshe. Tell him to journey on. They were going someplace. They were going someplace as we directed them to go. And on their way, by God's direction, they see a Yam, and on their direction they see the Egyptians. What is the godly solution to the situation? To defy the Gashmizik observation, to the worldly view, and to notice only the godly view. So, in other words, the Rebbe said to the Yidden then that they have to change their orientation. It's not, they don't see the sea, they see that Hashem is showing them. They don't see the Egyptians, see the Egyptians Hashem is showing them. And therefore they have to think at that level on what Hashem is showing them. And then their solution would be a completely different one. Not from a natural perspective, but from a godly perspective. So this is the sicha in very brief. and give us an opportunity to understand this very fine understanding view of things. Coming back, we always say that coming back, then the whole point of these discussions is to get us directly some kind of a direct orientation pertaining to us as we are going through the yeshiva, going through our growth process and all that. I mentioned last week, I mentioned in the past that one of the challenging aspects in the Baal Tshuva situation, if not, I don't know if it's one of them or perhaps this is the big challenge in Baal Tshuva situation. And the challenge is that inevitably, because one was in a different world prior to coming here, everything that I know it on a secondary level. This is different than what I'm used to. But this is not our primary level. This is how it is on the primary level of truth. Remember we spoke about this? We spoke about this many times. Like I mentioned also, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya says, in the Hagdama to Shar Yichud V'Emunah, in the Chinuch Koren, it says, Sheva Yipil Tzadik will come, that a tzaddik will fall 7 times and will rise up again. It's a posik. Alter Rebbe explains what is the principle of tzaddik falling down and rising up again. Falling down is it's a simple process that because a person, even one who's a tzaddik, and the Alter Rebbe's definition of a tzaddik is a phenomenal thing. I don't have to give it to you. You clearly know what the Alter Rebbe's definition of a tzaddik is. A tzaddik also does not stay in one place. That's a nature of a human being. Not only the nature, that's an instruction that he has, that a human being has to be a mahalech. This is what distinguishes him from malachim even. Malachim are oimdim. Stay in one place. Whatever madrega they have, that's their madrega. A human being, his greatness is that he's in constant movement, rising. And the principle of rising is that you cannot rise from one madrega to another madrega. The way the rising occurs is you reach the pinnacle, the top of the madrega where you are, until you say, hey, this is not what I want to be. I want to be someplace else. And you lose the sense of the value of madrega where you are, because you realize it's not the real truth. At that moment there's a fall. A fall means because you're disoriented. You say, this is not good. This is not what I want. You don't have a real footing because it's not real. But
why do you realize when you reach the pinnacle, you realize that it's not
the real truth, that this is not the real truth that you identified. Okay, let me stop there for a second. The Gemara says that a person is never satisfied. If he has 100, he immediately wants 200. If he has 200, he immediately wants 400. And so on. He'll never have satisfied his interest, his want. So what's the question in this? If when he has 100 he wants 200, and when 200 he wants 400, why doesn't he want 400 right away? Why at first he wants 100, then he wants 200, then he wants 400, then he wants 800? Why doesn't he want right away for 400? Or 800? Or 1,000,000? What's the limit? What's the answer? That when we say he wants 100, he wants 200, he wants 800, we do not mean he wants it because there is a big number, so he just chooses a number arbitrarily. He wants it because he appreciates its value. Intellectually, he's already grown to the point that he appreciates that. This means he wants it. A person at the point where he wants 100, he says, "Oh, but I really want 10,000, 1,000." That means that he has not employed his intellect. He doesn't really know what he wants.
If he says what? If he says, I really want a thought. I didn't.
What is the process? What is the meaning of he wants 100, 200, 400? What is the Gemara say of it? It means like this. He has 100, and he starts using the 100 and starts living on that basis. That's not 100 does not really satisfy all my wants. If I had 200, that would be great. That would answer all my questions. He gets to 200, says, no, it's still not the real thing. 400 will do it for me. He reaches for 400, and he sees 400 doesn't do it. 800 will do it. But in order to go through this progress, he can't get to that sense that 400 will not do it when he only has 100. When he only has 100, he will not only appreciate 200. He will appreciate 400. That
Because he doesn't perceive the value of it? That's
right.
why?
He doesn't perceive the value of it.
Mhm.
Let me give you an illustration. This is an important principle. We always speak that a person needs a home, right? We spoke about this in a home. What if you tell a person, your home is the Empire State Building? Great, right? Terrible. Terrible. You'll be totally lost there. You won't feel at home, won't feel comfortable. You won't have a home. You give him the Empire State Building as his personal dwelling, he's lost. You've not done him a favor at all. You have done him this favor. He has the Empire State Building, and he no longer can identify what is a home. The Empire State Building, maybe the mind of a king can relate to it. Certainly not a normal human being. Can relate to it? You follow what I'm saying? This is the shot growth. Even in the world arena. I have seen people, I'm sure you heard, and I may know yourself, I've seen people who came out of the yeshiva and they became overnight wealthy. So you think, oh, wonderful.
From this issue?
Not in this yeshiva. It's possible, okay, but be careful over here. Be careful. This yeshiva you'll go out with direct wisdom. If you become wealthy, you know where to give, what the money goes to. So overnight, whatever it is, he became a lawyer. He was successful in what he was doing. And really, this man that I'm thinking of specifically was a very intelligent man. Was very intelligent. How he got into where he got, I don't know, but he was an intelligent person. You could talk to him. He lost his, what's called tzuras odom. He didn't look like an intelligent human being anymore. He lost it. It's not a joke. It's a very...
I'm trying to understand what that means.
Huh?
What do you mean? He started, like...
He was to flogging. You know what to flogging means?
No.
I was sitting next to him one time and he was supposed to pick out a piece of paper to write something down or something like that. So he goes in one pocket, takes out a bunch of dollars. Another pocket. Another pocket, a bunch of dollars.
You didn't have composure.
He's making money. And the dollars are all crumbled up. You understand what I'm saying? There was no order to his thinking process. I had Rahmanis on this man. The same thing you could say Lahavim, the same thing is in Ruchnius. In Ruchnius, the movement, so my watch is standing still, then we can go definitely. I said, like, what's the matter?
That's the secret to the classes going over every day.
What? So movement is Ruchnius is also gradual.
It's also?
Gradual. You have to, real growth is when you come to a point, like you say, the pinnacle. You really fully comprehend them, fully embrace the thing. And now you sense, okay, I want to do something greater than I'm aspiring to. I know what I'm aspiring to. Not fully because I'm not there yet, but I know what I'm aspiring to. This is just a people side. So during at that moment, when he comes to a point where he has to aspire, he realizes something higher. He no longer values or appreciates what he has. Because it's no longer what he's looking for. It's no longer the orientation and insight that's meaningful. And it's meaningful. From this current level, it's not meaningful. Therefore, during this period, he is called in a falling state. Okay, I don't know, I would take a guess that none was on the Madrigal of thinking over here. Pardon me if I make a mistake. But even Benjamin also has the same experience. I've ventured to say that each one of us here experienced this kind of experience at some point in time. I learned, and now So, where am I standing? Well, where am I going? I'm totally disappointed. Until one realizes where he is to go, and he starts a new process over again. But during this fall, he is disoriented. What's about this? Learn another basis. Big deal. I understand when I first started learning this was everything was a tremendous game. A challenge. Please, it's a big deal. What am I really accomplishing here? So, Alter Rebbe says every tzaddik falls 7 times, and then he rises up again. Because that process. He rises up again because he realizes, yes, indeed, there is a higher Madhya. Then he aspires to that higher Madhya. Question that the Alter Rebbe asks is, during this fall, that he no longer appreciates being tzaddik at the level that he was, what's holding him up? I shouldn't fall away. What's maintaining a certain equilibrium? So after Rebbe explains, this is a big secret in life, that what holding him is that which he absorbed in his youth. Those truths absorbed in his youth, from his father, they absorbed as a child. This was holding him up. He is an amazing thing. He is not son. That's like me, somebody who through all human barriers. He got rid of his nature. What can be more? He's a tzaddik. And yet, he came from that mother. But that which he absorbed in his youth, that was that not lose. This will keep him keep afloat, even in the falling down situation. The secret is how is going to keep him that which he learned with all his cases, day and night, that will not keep him up. The answer is that which he learned, something which he encountered, something was new, which means that there was a time that he didn't know, and now he is. Anything that a person knows on the level, that it could be yes, it could be no, even though said that it's yes, he knows it. But this knowledge comes, it's a light out of darkness. It's a dark light that's possible not to know. Any knowledge like that is not through and through, it's not from that. It is a knowledge that constantly have to reinforce. Just like light and darkness in out. Many times the sixth state of the world is the physical world. It doesn't, you don't see the physical. You do it by touch. Tangible, not another. Therefore it is dark. Even when the light is shining, the shining making it see things in the dark. Simply it's dark. Understand that, right? That we see everything else, normal, basic observations that we see in the dark. Because there's a shining. Take a light, you don't see it, nothing happens. Pitch dark. Okay? Right? So therefore, everything that after not having known has its ability does not have this fundamental reality. He can follow. But to reinforce it, continue to reinforce it. That's possible. That you learn in youth. That which you youth and learning as a child. Youth means his parents from people are his mentors from birth. Which means they said it is not confirmed by his elect. There's some reality accepted as so in knowledge there is not remain not as if he always knew it. For example, we all know what it means, the correct language, or second language. You can very proof the second language. But it's never like the middle language. You know what I'm talking about? You understand? I can attest, cradle language of Russia. But I haven't spoken since I was 8 years old. Intentionally. Decided at that time when we left Russia is not a country and we left Russia. And in a month, I speak Russian. I was fluent. My second language is Yiddish, believe it or not. I learned it this year. I didn't know it when I was a child, big child. Yiddish. For a while, then and primarily my language is English. What comes to mind? I think of something that I think of the word. Not the nothing. This is the reality. Everything is a treasure. Interpretation. Different than the primary and the second. Anything that has the element not be, and then it has a main second language. Language means like we all can say it's a different thing. The translator word. This it is. This is exactly what it is. It's primary, right? It's not a word to decide. This is what it is. Table. So it's born in English. Is a mean which to refer to a table. Table to table. Shulchan to that would be a way to refer it. So this primary knowledge that one had in the mind was because learning this has become foundedly in his mind and his life. Coming original is in the mind. This is somebody with whom this is from the correct is. So this is the reality. So the there is a point, it says, Bereshit bara Elokim. The Rebbe one says, like it, not any child. How do you know the world? You'll say because it says Bereshit bara. Now it's the Bereshit. This is what into the world. Who think that there is a world? Taylor said, "Oh, there is a world." That's how the child grows up. For everything else, I know that we discussed before. Everything is introduced to a godly. So this was the take view by Yamsu. The point which I want to speak, in effect, really to you can understand that our true or quote unquote lifers and said Rebbe about it is not a true. Why is it true? You are the essentially, you know, like all, but there's orientations that are true, not come home because not experience. And I'd like you to understand this is really a Jewish thought process. So you get it now. You understand? This is thought process. The real word, but for the Hashem creates it. Everybody understands. The real world by me, but for them shows me and tells me, I want you to see this world. This is what I want you to know. And this is what you have to do here. That place is the whole thing. Besides the Yamsu, in total orientation. Yes, no, maybe so. Very often that in the Siddur, Ashkenaz Siddur, and other Siddur, in our we don't have Zmira. In Siddur, we have Zmira. Some Siddur have a lot of Zmiras from all kinds of sources. There is a from the Absara. The president reduced was a very interesting person with a highest. He was a tzaddik. Rashi's very country. His people as in the Chush. Number impossible to read it. It's written in that. Who's going to tell how to write? I want to write. He said, yeah, I want to write. Finish. He doesn't write it to explain. He just his thought. You can follow his thought, you can't thought it. You can't reference. And Zemer, and then my words. So he said, "Il echad alamed, il echad roani." So for Rabbi, what does that mean?
Roani? The third word?
Roani. born the creator, Caleb Rani, Omar Chai. One created made the Ramallah. So nice. Struck me. What he's saying is that God created. So what is it to me? Do I know who I am? This is something that isn't me or anybody else. He told that I should live and live my life. Extremely proud. Extremely. This is beautiful. This is really capturing the human perspective of it in words. Okay, this is one time, but the real low class is not because we to them we are them be the real because discovered what it us. Like it says, reaching mountains, everything you see is because you bring. Deed set of it is that he doesn't see anything God for Hashem Shom. Is there present where before his this is high mother. This is set of it. And that in truth, Hamdu also they're not stirring, they all the others they're including that world. Startled with our quote, but the limitation of what we see himself is a little Jewish view is and one day the right one is the wrong. I discovered the right one is the world. The follow our discussion. That is precisely way. So now I recognize the film of later we will recognize the presence of this. So the first is to know that a being. Not that he created. That this human being created. Jewish is like the case of the four kittens. So the real kitten is able to go. This is not even 2,000 dollars. Amazing. We were able to recoup the Holocaust. Psychology possibly. It's like being decimated and then kill yourself. Isn't able to accomplish to life again. Do that day. life is not normal life. Everything life is God's life. It's about it. As long as God's life, that else is some in lives and in which I said that to receive differently to my life to speak. Many life they also need little something that I think how I am simplicity to approaches it. It's not good. So this and to urge you appreciate this and reach and start of patient. The sons already in their own life.
I wanna look at the video of the class.
I think you should. I would those. There's weeks that have all kinds of things that are not there. You have Hassan Young. Yeah. So far, next week, Tuesday. No.
Wednesday, no?
No, me, yes. I'm not sure. Flying, Emmanuel, next Tuesday, can be the show. I know. I'll give you this.